Well, it's funny when you say becoming a hypnotist, because the real question is, how do you know you are one?
Yes,
and
yes.
Because I would tell my friends, I said, oh yeah, I'm a hypnotist now. And they're like, no way.
It's like, did it, yeah.
Yeah, how do you become
What's
one?
that
What do you
moment?
do?
Yeah.
So, yeah, as a reaction and studying what the mind can do as an outcome from that accident, because I was really, really nervous driving.
Yeah.
And I tried to talk myself through it, and I went through whatever I thought, man up, you know, just work your way through it, you can do fine. And I went and saw a psychologist or a psychiatrist, I don't even know who it was to this day. And he basically just told me to close my eyes and took me back to the scene of the accident and said, get over it. And then I started laughing because I thought that was it. Like, he was showing me the door and said, okay, well, I'll book you for another appointment and blah, blah. And I said, oh, I don't think so. Thanks anyways. And was I ever glad OHIP paid for it? Like, I was a student, so I was like, I can't believe this, whatever happened. And then that night when I went to drive, I got in the car and I had to drive my sister to a place, and I backed up and I drove her across town and I came back again. And I turned the car off, and it wasn't until that time.
No triggers.
That nothing triggered. I couldn't believe it. I didn't have the sweaty palms or the racing heart. And so that was my journey. I had to figure out, what was this all about? And as you can see, it took a long time, because that was in '84. I was busy still, you know, student and in University of Waterloo and at Laurier, and I was so busy through school. I never had time, but I started taking psychology courses because I wanted to learn, what is the mind all about? But they never got into the subconscious mind. It was mentioned, we knew about it, but not.
And you see movies, you know, with
you know,
where
and
you
I
kind
thought,
of think hypnosis,
oh,
the
they're going to be all robots and all the rest of it. So I tried to apply the science side, to learn the science first, and I always like to walk the talk, to figure out if I could do something. I actually went into a stage hypnosis show, and I was the first one kicked off. Really? And I was so mad, because I was like, why did I get kicked off? Because I think I'd done it. Right? Like, I feel so much better, I have confidence, and I'm not worried about driving anymore. And to this day, I still am fine driving. You know, just from some guy sends a sound through the air, rings my inner ear, and I feel confident. How can that be? He never touched me, he never medicated me.
It's like a bear, it's going through the layers, but it just almost puts a block. Or like, and people, you see them even for smoking and different things, but in an audience setting, because you interact, that's part of your show, is the interaction. How do you, so you take people through, in that short period of time, how do you sort of do your craft with an audience in that kind of a 2-hour span? And maybe, is it just gentle layers, you're not going as deep per se as maybe you went through with your accident, but enough to kind of just to get them to maybe come out of character for a little bit, or go through just break down those comfort walls, you know, where you put up those blocks?
Well, as I found out, just as I went through it, is basically all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. So I don't do anything to people. I invite the audience to come up, because they are the stars of the show. They're the ones that have the best time of us all. And they come up, and all they have to do is just chill. They just have to give themselves permission to relax, and they will go into this wonderful trance state, which we go into every day. You may have found it today. I did. Coming up the 401, you're driving, you're listening to the tunes, you're lost in thought, and I almost missed the turn. That is the exact same trance state. You know you're on stage, you know you're in a show, you know your friends are out there.
You're physically present. But
you are present, but your subconscious mind takes over, and it's so much stronger. And then when we have that, I show people how to access that, and I also show them how to anchor it at the end of the show, so they can use it for stress relief and family, and, you know, just basically taking back control and build their own confidence, as I learned. And I share that as a gift for them, that they can take on, because they all have it within them. I just show them how to sort of zone in and pull that out. So volunteers come up on the stage, they relax, and that's when we have a lot of fun. We change personalities and create new, unique environments.
And laughter comes to mind.
Oh,
there must be a lot of,
you know, people they're Justin Bieber, they believe they're Justin Bieber, and even if they can't sing, they will try to sing and think they are.
They could,
and enjoy it. And then, of course, the more the audience gets involved, the crazier it gets, and it's really just a lot of good, clean fun.
And the thing is, you've got this performance coming up on October 13th, but I've got to ask you, again, aside from hypnosis and your craft, something near and dear to your heart is your family and community and giving back. But I've got to ask you, on that first date with Dale, did she make eye contact knowing you're a hypnotist?
Yeah, you know what?
Which you kind of know.
No.
If you talk to Dale,
yeah. My wife, the funniest part about working with my wife is I did the hypnotist thing after we were married. Like when I really went in to study hypnotherapy. And so she was my victim, who I would practice on. And I would get so mad because she started laughing. Like she's going, I know you're not a hypnotist. And I'm like, oh, this is back to my point. Yeah. When are you one?
When are you into your
And I would get so frustrated. So I had to sort of leave there, and I started working with athletes and who I knew through athletics, and because I teach skiing and snowboarding. So I worked with them. Yeah. That went into marathon runners. Then it went into control of the mind. And then they all work at places. And so then I started working with financial industries and helping people take back control of their mind, become more productive, more confident, stress-free, and then that led to the show. So it was literally starting with my wife, who was not a willing participant because she didn't believe in me as a hypnotist, and now she just can't believe her mind. Like
and she'll probably sit in the audience, and for people, now people coming out on October the 13th, it's going to be, again, that interaction, audience participation. People can go to your website for more information on tickets and things. Maybe tell them where to, they can go.
Sure. If you want to see a little cut of the show, you can go to jerryenns.com. That's JERRYENNS.com. And you'll be able to see a little trailer of the show right on the main page. You just let it sit through and it goes on and it comes off. And you can buy tickets right here. It's first come, first serve. It's a really intimate theater. I was just in it. It's going to be so cool because you're going to say, oh, there's my friend right there. Or better yet, come on up on stage. You'll love it. Where else can you do this?
Or be Justin Bieber.
Yes,
Jerry.
Come be Justin Bieber or Selena.
That's
Your
right.
choice.
Thanks, Jerry. Great chatting with you. We'll be back in just a moment. Well, painter Shirley Erskine and sculptor Don Dickson have joined forces for a show called Duets here at the Arts Center. I have a chance to have a great chat with them coming up. Well, every week on Art and Soul, we get to go behind the scenes into some creative spaces. But this is absolutely incredible. And I'm here with Shirley. You are right now at the Arts Center with part of the show you're doing. But we get to come into your creative space. And it's inspiring, the color, this backdrop. We've got to talk about a lot of these pieces here. But welcome to the program. And,
Thank you.
It's so great to have you. Now, in front of us, which a lot of people will have a chance to see at the gallery. But this is sort of behind the scenes of how this was created, and maybe explain a little bit about this beautiful, it looks like stained glass. It's absolutely exquisite, and it almost runs, if you can see it at home, 12 feet long by almost 4 feet wide. So Shirley, tell us a little bit about the story of this piece.
Well, I'm thrilled that you said stained glass because that's my intention. When it's hanging, I like it to see it hung and at least a foot away from the wall so the light can transfer through onto the back wall. It's done on mylar. It's transparent. And this is all Japanese rice paper, which I happen to have a piece here. This is what I begin with. And it's called washi. And it has absolutely no color and really is very nondescript looking. But once you take this out, this is what I begin with, and then I scrunch it all up. And I lay it on. I have a big wooden box that I put this in, and I spritz it with a special paint that has, it's not paint, excuse me, ink, that has a shellac base. And as it dries, I get these lovely creases. And it comes up in a very transparent and a very shiny, translucent, in some cases. The blue I particularly love. And I have some greens down here.
Reminds me almost of it's almost like lifelike, like you'd see it in nature, or it's and everyone's so unique, but it's absolutely incredible, these patterns that it creates.
Well, I don't know if the camera can catch this, but this almost looks like a tree running through here, and this is happenings. I don't know what's going to happen as I'm dyeing them, but I do love the results. Now this one could be water lilies. I have no idea what
it's. A giraffe? I don't know. It's in the eye of the beholder.
In the eye of the beholder.
And that's what I've got to say. Maybe for the audience, take us through, how would you describe your medium?
Well, I go for transparency. And the more luminosity and transparency I get, the happier I am. I want them to be full of life, full of color. And they're not what I call PLP, pretty little pictures. I want them to tell a story. And the first one behind Kelly is Gateway to Gaia's World. And Gaia was a mother, they called her in Greek mythology, the mother of earth. And to me, that's collage on the back, and that is a gateway opening up our beginnings or our thoughts about the world. Of course, we realize it's mythology. But that is collage again, and there are this same washi paper on some of that. And the one behind us is my kind of input on mandalas. Mandalas were represented through the Incans, the Egyptian mythology, Greek mythology. We've always had this circular icon. And this one I did kind of as a little tongue-in-cheek towards our days of, shall we say, avarice in this generation. I used a coin to give me the centerpiece, and it's done on silk. I found it rather rich and, like I say, it's more tongue-in-cheek, but that's just an out-and-out collage with acrylic. But I did do, and I have done, many mandala series, and this one is kind of a tongue-in-cheek.
And then behind us, Shirley.
Behind us, this is basically, this is all this dyed paper, and this is acrylic, and it's called Daylight, and it's the morning coming up and the daylight splashing across the sky and splashing around the earth tones and the greenery that will sparkle in the sun in the morning. A lot of collage in here that's underneath this yellow. This is acrylic paint, but it's all collage underneath.
It's funny, Shirley, for the viewers at home, you get the sense, and again, even in preparing for this interview and talking to you, you're inspired so much by the earth, your surroundings. Yes. Art comes from your soul, and it's interesting. That's what even the name of the program, because we're always looking for the heart of an artist and the soul of an artist. But tell us a little bit about this, because it's the earth, it's people, just enjoying life, and your whole joie de vivre, style of painting, and just where you find that inspiration.
I guess my inspiration comes from Greek mythology, because we're told in all different ways, the Big Bang Theory, all these religious theories of how the world began, which is all very interesting and all very well done and so forth. But my feeling is, it's here. This is our gift. This is our earth. We've got to look after it. It's our legacy. And that's where I come from with most of my work, is the fact that it's our earth. We must look after it, and we must be kind to each other. Maybe sounds a little esoteric or something, but that's the way I feel about it. The earth is our gift, and we are here to look after it.
And the thing is, for artists that dare to dream, I mean, you know, a lot of artists were coming off the heels of the studio tour, and there's not a lot of opportunities for artists to show their work and things like that. Galleries would be, you know, a big step. But when you get to your level, share, like, can we just share in your world for a minute? You've been to Paris, you've been, let's brag a bit about Dubai. Tell the viewers a little bit about your experience internationally, because again, I say, you know, a dream,
well,
but...
Yes, a lot of my dreams have come true. I've had a show in Paris in a beautiful old 15th century building on the left bank, and it was absolutely a dream. I've been in shows in Florence. My work has been in Japan. There is somebody in Australia that has some of my work. A lot of people in the British Isles. I think the highlight was being invited to the symposium in Dubai, along with my co-exhibitor, Don Dickson. He was there as the only Canadian sculptor invited, and I was the only Canadian artist. And it was a highlight. It really was a highlight to be with all these people from all over the world. And it was contemporary art, and to see how they expressed themselves. It was absolutely awesome. I'm out of words to describe it.
And bringing the stories, your experiences, beautiful art where people have a chance to come and see you at the gallery. You're there now, right through to the weekend. Can you maybe give everybody your website? And again, you're at the Art Center this week.
It's the easiest thing in the world, my website. It's www.shirleyrskine.com. And Erskine is E-R-S-K-I-N-E. Begins with an E, ends with an E.
And Shirley, thank you. We're in one of your studios. And again, lovely to speaking to you. We're stepping upstairs now to speak to Don, who's in another area of your studio here at your home.
He's in my loft.
So we'll go ahead to have a chance to speak to Don. But thank you so much, Shirley. It was an absolute pleasure talking to you.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you. Well, I'm upstairs now in Shirley's upper loft studio here. Now, this space is quite interesting because I'm here with Dawn, and you're doing a show called Duets, and you're at the gallery right now with Shirley. But it's nice because we get to step behind the scenes to find out a little bit more about what you do. So to kind of an explanation as people are coming to the gallery this week to see these pieces on a grand scale. So maybe we'll talk a little bit about your medium, and we'll explain a couple of stories about some of these pieces and where they are around the world.
Sure.
Per se. So maybe for everybody at home, tell us what is the style of, again, media that you do?
I do large-scale public art, mostly. I do smaller works as well. I mostly work with steel, stainless steel, and stone. I'm also working on wood projects and combining stainless steel and water features as well.
And congratulations, I heard from Shirley, you're invited to Dubai, one of the two that went there for that show. Congratulations on that. And again, we're looking at these are smaller, sort of a mock-up of a large installation that you would do. And I might start with this first piece. And to me, this looks almost like an inverted wind chime or a musical piece. You actually create art for the outdoors, and these become... They actually pick up a sound sculpture. Yeah. So maybe explain that a little bit to the viewers at home.
They're interactive. This design was for a proposal in the States. I didn't get it, but the actual sound sculpture part minus this was a commission I got for the Parkite in Zurich, Switzerland. But it's a smaller than this one would have been.
Okay.
It's an indoor piece in a bar.
Oh, okay. And what's the response of you?
They love it.
Do they? Yeah. And so unique. And then we're going to go to our, half a bench, half a...
Yes.
Tell us about this. And you've created several of these.
3 of them. One's in Latvia, one's in Halliburton.
Okay.
And their sculpture trail.
How do people find you? So do you just get, is it through emails? The internet now is so powerful for artists?
Internet's a great source.
A great source. And so do you find people actually enjoy, to scale this would be?
Yeah, well, the one in Halliburton's on a sculpture trail, and the seat part in metal is in red. So you walk through this forest and see this half red bench, and you walk around and the other part's stone.
Wonderful. And we've got to explain our friend
yes,
here.
Well,
when you actually do your, your proposals to people, it's hard to get an idea of how big that space is to scale.
So I usually use my little guy for the...
to give people an idea.
To give someone an idea of how large the scale would be when they're trying to envision it for a project.
Definitely, and we've got a lot of pieces here, but I think we'll maybe discuss this one, and it's a little bit heavier, but let's take the viewers through what this...
This is granite and marble, or granite-based marble. This piece itself was, I guess, my first stone piece, second stone piece I did in Dubai, which was 4 meters. I did this actual piece in South Korea for a symposium, and it's 4 meters.
So Don, would you say, so is it more, is it corporate, is it through different countries, but is it also, do you do commissions for even a beautiful piece for a backyard or something to scale?
Yeah, I do smaller works that, you know, people can afford rather than corporations or cities or...
Any inspiration for this style of work? Always fascinated
sometimes I get, when I go to a symposium where you go and build it on site for 3-4 weeks, there's a theme, or sometimes it's open, so you can present your idea and they accept it or not. So
wonderful. Yeah. And what's next for you after this show?
After this show, that's a good question. I've got all sorts of ideas to just create in my studio.
Wonderful. Sounds fabulous. And again, for people wanting to see you, and Shirley, you're doing this. The show is called Duets.
Right.
You're at the gallery this week. But we thought it would be nice to kind of step behind the scenes and show just the pieces, a little bit of the story. And again, with Shirley, it's quite fascinating. And website for you for more information, Don?
metalgenesis.com.
Wonderful. Thanks so much for speaking to me.
Thank you.
When you think of the Bee Gees, 5 decades of music, we're going to give you a little Night Fever action to close the show. This is Night Fever.
Hey, I'm Johnny, and I play Barry Gibb.
I'm Carm, and I play the part Maurice.
And I'm Joe. I play the part of Robin.
And we're playing this weekend, October 6th.
Don't miss out with the full band, Bee Gees.
So we're going to do a little medley for you acoustic.
And we are Night Fever.
Oh, that's right.
How can you stop the rain from falling down? How can you stop the sun from shining? What makes the world go round? And how a spoken man. How can a loser ever win? Please help me mend my broken heart and let me live again. Da 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 da.
Well, that's Art and Soul for this week. Thank you so much for joining us. Well, if you'd like to be possibly featured on an upcoming program, please send us an email to haltontvkojiko@kojiko.com. Well, for everyone here, I'm Kelly McIntyre, and we'll see you next week.